Hey, welcome back, everybody. Of course, this is Dr. Keith McNally, and today I'm going to talk to you about public speaking. Yes, of all things, I'm going to talk to you about public speaking from a couple of different perspectives. And so, first, my perspective, second, from the perspective of my daughter, who's now 11 years old, and then from our students' perspective. And so, we're going to put this in what I call the PBL learning experience. And so, there's a value behind project-based learning because it integrates public speaking as part of its process. And I'm going to share with you why it's important. So, my first public speaking experience was in college. Now, for those of you who are older, that actually may be true for you. Is your first public speaking experience, if you weren't part of the debate team or in theater in middle school or high school, your very first experience in terms of giving a speech or giving any kind of presentation in front of strangers could easily be in college or beyond, actually in the workplace. So if you're if that wasn't your first public speaking experience and really it was engaged in a academic project in college or the workroom or the boardroom or wherever, we are really at a disadvantage. Those of us who are older were put at a disadvantage because it wasn't part of the natural learning process that it now is, or it should be. And I'm going to talk about that in just a few minutes. Now, my first public speaking experience came after the first 12 years, K-12 system, after being in the Marine Corps, which I lost a lot of skills then because I was an infantryman. And it was after at least two, possibly my third year of college. So I'm easily in my, you know, early mid 20s. And now I'm trying to learn a skill that I probably should have learned some time ago. Okay. That means I wasn't good at it. And I wasn't not just not good at it, I was bad at it. And so there was a lot to learn in a very short period of time. And quite frankly, I'm still kind of learning the public speaking gig as it is. Now I'm going to put this in the frame of my daughter. My daughter, by nature, is reserved and shy. So even talking to strangers, people that I know that she doesn't know, she's not necessarily forthcoming with a whole lot of information. And in some ways, that's a good thing because she's not about to go up to strangers and start talking. But in some ways, it's kind of bad because she really doesn't have those free flowing, that nature to say, you know, be able to talk about ideas, be able to talk about things in front of people that she doesn't know. So I'm going to have to work on that on my end to kind of help, you know, fill that gap and give her that confidence and that competence to be able to share information because that's really going to be essential. That's an essential skill here in the 21st century and beyond. So that leads me to the conversation of the final product in the project-based learning experience. And so in the PBL framework, students go through a series of exercises, really project management based exercises, because what's being taught now in the PBL landscape is that we live in a project based world. And so everything that we do in terms of adults is framed in terms of a project. There are resources to gather, there are budgets to consider, there are people to talk to, and all of these other things that are really embrace the project theme or the project mindset. But in all of that, there still needs to be the ability to communicate what you've learned at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the project. And that's really one of the crucial components of project-based learning is that students will produce something, again, solving a problem, addressing an issue, and from that knowledge, they produce and they create some type of presentation. It could be a formal discussion, it could be a presentation, a podcast, whatever it is. They have to be able to communicate what they've learned and reflect upon that experience from a personal perspective. The thing is, without practice, we're not good at that, okay? And that's really essential. It's very, very much an essential part of the PBL learning experience because they go through stages where they have to be able to communicate in front of their team, in front of their classmates, in front of their teacher. They get to practice talking about what it is they're learning about from the PBL activity. So at the end of it all, they're not afraid of, they're not, standing in fear to be able to give a presentation or talk to business professionals, subject matter experts, industry people that are also part of the discussion. And so this is why project-based learning is so valuable because it gives students in the K-12 system and beyond the practice of talking about what they've learned, both from a knowledge perspective and a personal insight reflection perspective. And so this is why I'm such a proponent of project-based learning because it gives students these days really a 21st century skill set, which is talking to others. So with that, there's more to say, and I'll see you next time. Take care.